hands. Woohoo! How are we feeling tonight? I hear some woohoos, some wonderfuls, and some thumbs up. Nice. Let's sing about it. Come on in, we welcome you. Come on in, we welcome you.
Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so with that joy and that love and that peace within, we just call it forth as we sing, reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. Reveal, reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me, the joy. Reveal, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. 'Cause every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Joy. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Peace. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the love in me.
Want to just trade mics?
Are we now on? No.
Just use that one.
Do you want me to project? Are we net? Oh, yeah. So I'll get back from it. Thanking Jim and Sonny for the music that just fills my heart, and I trust it does yours. I know that this evening is one in which each of us knows more fully that God is the one power, the one presence, always with us in all circumstances, and that God is peace. And this is a place of peace and a place where we connect more deeply with the truth of our being, which is a place of peace that resonates throughout our souls and reverberates out into the world. And I know this service is one that brings peace and joy to each of us. The topic for this month is, whew, it's hot in here. Now, Jenny worked hard. She got the AC on, so it's not as hot in here as it was an hour ago, but it's been hot today. And the topic of Reverend Sunshine's message tonight is, want a piece of this? Think of the ways that we spell that word in this very convoluted English language. My reading is from the Course in Miracles. It is lesson 185. I want the peace of God. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If you could but mean them for just an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form, in any place or time. Heaven would be completely given back to full awareness, memory of God entirely restored, the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. No one can mean these words and not be healed. He cannot play with dreams nor think he is himself a dream. He cannot make a hell and think it real. He wants the peace of God, and it is given him. For that is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. Many have said these words, but few indeed have meant them. You have but to look upon the world you see around you to be sure how very few there are. The world would be completely changed should any two agree these words express the only thing they want. To mean you want the peace of God is to renounce all dreams. For no one means these words who wants illusions, and who therefore seeks the means which bring illusions. He has looked on them and found them wanting. Now he seeks to go beyond them, recognizing that another dream would offer nothing more than all the others. Dreams are one to him, and he has learned that their only difference is one of form, for one will bring the same despair and misery as do the rest. The mind, which means that all it wants is peace, must join with other minds, for that is how peace is obtained. And when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given. In a form each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. Whatever form the lesson takes is planned for him in such a way that he cannot mistake it if his asking is sincere. You want the peace of God, and so do all who seem to seek for dreams. For them as well as for yourself, you ask but this when you make this request with deep sincerity. For thus you reach to what they really want, and join your own intent with what they seek above all things, perhaps unknown to them, but sure to you. You have been weak at times, uncertain in your purpose, and unsure of what you wanted, where to look for it, and where to turn for help in the attempt. Help has been given you, and would you not avail yourself of it by sharing it? No one who truly seeks the peace of God can fail to find it, for he merely asks that he deceive himself no longer by denying to himself what is God's will. Who can remain unsatisfied who asks for what he has already? Who could be unanswered who requests an answer which is his to give? The peace of God is yours. For you was peace created, given you by its creator, and established as his own eternal gift. No one can lose, and everyone must gain whenever any gift of God has been requested and received by anyone. God gives but to unite. And knowing that, we want to hear what Reverend Sunshine says about, want a piece of this?
So I'm on. Thank you so much, Candace. Hi, everybody. Hi. Got my two best friends in the front row. When I came up with the talk title, it was more like, want a piece of me? Especially since we're in the month of conflict, where we're talking about conflict and we're talking about how conflict can actually lead to peace. In the past, we may have had this idea, this belief, this thought that conflict was to be avoided at all costs, that conflict was not a good thing, and that if we got into an argument or a discussion or a heated discussion, or if there was a problem that occurred between two of us, that it was really about how do I win and you lose? How is it that I can convince you to give up your ideas and thoughts and feelings about what it is you want, and then I win and you lose? For a lot of us, that's been the way of solving conflict. For a lot of us, it's, oh, let me just say that I give in just so that we have peace. And there's been this misperception that the way to arrive at peace is by lying, by deceiving, by giving in, by giving up. By just saying, hey, you know what, it's not a big deal, I'm going to be the bigger person here and take the high road. Thus bringing peace. And so what we've had the opportunity to learn this month as we have studied Gary Simmons' book, The Eye of the Storm, is that nobody is out to harm us or to get us or to hurt us. That there is no other, that there's only the one. And any and every time that I feel that I am in conflict, it is simply because I forgot who I am. And on top of forgetting who I am, I forgot who you are. That I have fallen into this idea or this illusion, or I became delusional enough to believe in separation, that there is an us and a them. And this week, in talking about want a piece of me, want a piece of this, want peace, it's really the PEACE, where we begin to take a look at the conflict cycle, and we begin to take a look at our true attitudes and belief about conflict. See, I've talked about this before, in that in this conflict cycle, we have our attitudes and beliefs about conflict. Avoid it at all costs. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna get my way. Or especially in anything violent, I'm not gonna start it, but for sure I'm gonna finish it. Or how many of us have had those parents to say, you don't throw the first punch, but you defend yourself. Or if you come home beat up, I'm going to beat you up when you get home. Like, those were some of the crazy, unrealistic, and not responsible ways of handling conflict, handling a disagreement or a problem between two people. But these attitudes and beliefs, we've been raised with those ideas, either through our parents, through the media, through watching love stories and watching how couples or families deal with conflict. I know that when I was growing up, my mom's not live streaming tonight. I know when I was growing up, when my folks had a disagreement, there would be the silent treatment. You know the silent treatment. I would watch my folks walk around the house and do whatever, but they wouldn't talk to each other. And They could have a party planned out, but because they had some disagreement or some conflict, they would walk around cleaning the house for the party, preparing the hors d'oeuvres and preparing everything for the party, and not speak to one another. But the minute the first guest arrived, ding dong, there they were together at the door, greeting people and talking with one another and being loving. And as soon as the last person left the party, it was back to the silent treatment. Thank goodness she's not watching tonight. What do you think I learned about conflict? Don't talk about it. Don't resolve it. I don't even really know how it ever really did resolve itself, because I didn't have the example of what it's like to sit down and have a conversation and to really come to the table with this attitude and belief that somehow or another there is a solution to what's going on here. Today, as spiritual people, on this path of unfoldment, on this path of growth, on this path, especially this month when I've been talking about how hot it is because we've really touched some real serious situations, and some of you have even shared how you thought I was reading your mail or your journals and diaries because some of the issues were real and because they have been very practical. When we have been taught through media, through parents, through churches and institutions, through our teachers, on how to deal with conflict, we have to take a look at whether they're coming from a place of wholeness or from a place of fear and limitation, from a place of doubt, from a place of us and them. Because if we're going to take on those ways of handling conflict, it's not just about managing conflict, it's about my attitudes and beliefs when conflict occurs, because conflict is always going to happen in life. And in the conflict cycle, my attitudes and beliefs are right on the top. And when conflict happens, I respond or react. And of course, we know that reaction is just reacting, acting again. So we're acting like probably a 6-year-old, or we're acting like somebody we saw on television, or we might even have that soap opera drama. That's it, I'm done. Right? Ask me how I know. But when we respond, responding takes thinking about it. It means coming to the table willing to find solutions. But my response is also heavily dictated upon based on my attitudes and beliefs. And today, as we begin to look at how conflict, we can not just resolve it or manage it, but how it can in fact create peace in our life, it's because we begin to embrace this idea and this knowing that right where I am, God is, right where you are, God is, that we are in this oneness, in this wholeness, that there is no otherness. So obviously there's a solution. Obviously, there's this opportunity for peace. Obviously, the peace that I want is the peace of God, because that is really all that exists, and it already exists inside of me. It already exists within me. Even in the Course of Miracles reading today, it talked about how it has already been given. So what happens is that we have to allow the little ego self, the ego, the edging God out ego, we have to relinquish that, let it fall by the wayside, and allow the truth of God within us to come forth. Last week I used the example of a carpenter using a level and a square. So in each and every situation, if we're bringing God, if God is our new BFF, if we're bringing God into the situation, If we're bringing God into the conflict, we're really bringing peace to the conflict. We're really saying, how does this measure up? Is this leveled here? Is this really how God, the honest of God is? What's missing? What needs to be shored up? What is it that I need to know? Because in the eye of this storm, I'm being taught some valuable lessons about myself, about my beliefs, my attitudes. And inevitably, if I do an inventory tonight, if I just take and review my day, if I review my life, and I look at each and every instance where there's been fear, doubt, pain, confusion, animosity, hatred, it all points back to me, to those specific times where I have believed that I am separate from the life that God is. That I have believed that you are separate from that which God is. You see, conflict gives us the opportunity not only to be peacemakers and to come from that energetic of right where this conflict is, peace is, because I'm here, because God's here, and in the midst there's already peace. I just need to look for it and find it and be open and willing to see it and to see where I get to give up some of the old ideas and thought forms that keep me separate from you, but look at ways that we are indeed one and united. I also have to get rid of this idea that there's an us and them and that there's an enemy or that you're out to get me. Because in every instance, really everyone is seeking their highest good. And sometimes it's selfish and self-centered. And it comes from a place of fear and doubt. It comes from a place of lack and limitation. And inevitably, when I act or live from that place, I'm going to step on the toes of others and wonder why they retaliate. Hold on. Hello. But the only reason there is the retaliation is because I'm already coming forth from a place of lack, limitation, doubt, fear, this belief and this attitude that I am separate from the whole. And see, when we have these attitudes and beliefs about conflict, and conflict occurs and we respond and or react, there are always consequences. And these consequences will always reinforce our attitudes and beliefs, or we don't like the consequences. So we begin to take a look at what needs to be changed. And I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, those consequences have to be a little strong, like a good little spanking. Nothing too hard, abusive, but a wake-up call. Wake up, silly, what's happening here? What are you believing and thinking and trusting? That's not who you are. Remember who you are. Remember the truth about yourself. Remember your wholeness. Remember that in every situation you're bringing wholeness forth. That's the attitude of a peacemaker. The attitude of a peacemaker and the life of a peacemaker is someone who stands in that gap and knows that all things are possible. Not somebody who says, I've been there, done that. I know how she acts. So I know the minute I tell her this and this, she's going to say such and such and such and such. That's not the peacemaker. No, I could sit in a session. Well, did you tell him how you feel? No, because the minute I tell him how I feel, he's going to tell me this and this and this. That's not standing as a peacemaker, because you're already collapsing infinite possibility into one solution and one what you think is going to happen. Just because it's happened in the past. And the past doesn't set the precedence. So in peacemaking, in wanting a piece of this, and wanting the peace of God, we get to, A, do our own work. Recognize our wholeness. Recognize that it has already been given. recognize our truth and walk into every situation, including situations of conflict, not from that place of doubt and fear and lack and limitation, but from that place of wholeness, knowing that there is indeed infinite possibilities, and that in the realm of infinite possibilities, as long as I remain neutral and open and available to infinite possibilities, as long as my attitudes and beliefs are right where I am, God is, right where he is or she is or they are, the children, the aunts, the uncle, the ex, the future, right where we are, God is. And that there is no otherness. But indeed, our problems are of our own making. When we are living from the place of doubt and fear and uncertainty and believing that folks are out to harm us. In his book, it's been an amazing month to be with the book. He says that peacemaking is neither passive nor aggressive. It's neither political correctness nor militant demand. It is dynamic neutrality in the face of competing tensions or mutually exclusive positions. It's holding the space for the possibility of reconciliation to occur in a field of infinite possibilities. If you think for a moment of a family member, a friend, someone you haven't talked to because y'all fell out. Something happened. It might be years. It might be a parent you're not talking to or a sibling. Chances are that you probably don't even remember what the falling out was really about in the first place. You just are holding on that we just don't speak to one another. We just don't engage like we used to. A peacemaker stands at the center of confusion, upset, and conflict without making others wrong for their positions. At the eye of the storm, there is calm, clarity, and peace. At the eye of the storm, at the center of the storm, there's clarity. There's that little space where there's clarity, calm, and peace. And at the eye of the storm of conflict, there's oneness of presence. As a peacemaker, we get to review our own behavior with this person who maybe we fell out with, and honestly look at ourselves. Where was I being selfish, self-centered, self-seeking? Where was I acting from a place of fear or doubt or limitation? Was I really in my wholeness? Was I really in a place to know that there's nothing that separates us? Was I really in the place of knowing that no one is against me? Or was I in this otherness, in this confusion? You see, being a peacemaker doesn't eliminate the storm. Being the peacemaker and knowing our oneness and our wholeness just allows for there to be clarity and calm in the midst of the storm. It doesn't move it away. The storm has its purpose, and its purpose is to reveal to us the areas where we need to shore up on our own knowing of our own truth. It's our opportunity to really get tossed around a little bit. And really get honest with ourselves as to whether or not we really believe this stuff, or are we just talking, or just showing up and attending. Are we a participant or a bystander? Am I a participant in my life, knowing that my life is the life of God? Knowing that my life is the way God shows up on this planet. Your life is the way God shows up on this planet. So you already have it. I already have it. It's already there. But because we've kind of been muddled through life and we've assimilated and we've adopted these attitudes and beliefs about conflict, these attitudes and beliefs that say we need to do this or do that, when really what we know inside is that we always want reconciliation. We always want that happy ending. We always want this place of peace where I can lay my head down on my pillow at night knowing that I've owned up to really recognizing all those little areas where I am not necessarily in the fullness of the true I am. Where I get to say, oh yeah, I talk a good game about prayer and meditation, but how, like Janet said, what have you done for me lately? Really, how much meditation have I done lately? How much prayer have I done lately? How much contemplation have I done lately? How much spiritual education have I done lately? Ooh, it's getting hot in here. And so the storms get a chance to kind of put it in our face, to kind of show us where we get to improve, where we get to stop lying to ourselves about our spiritual practice and really begin to engage in our spiritual practice, so much so that we know beyond a shadow of a doubt more and more each and every day that my life is the life of God, that there is no otherness, that there is oneness, and that in a world of infinite possibilities, when conflict arises, it is there to teach me, and it is there to allow me to be the peace, to allow me to be the peacemaker, to allow me to see that there is indeed an infinite possibility at hand. And so that's why conflict is a gift. That's why we get to embrace it like we've never embraced it before. Instead of seeing trouble and running the other way, we get to be this neutral place knowing that infinite possibility is available right now and that we're not necessarily picking and choosing a side, but that I'm steeped in my oneness and my wholeness, that I know that there's nothing against me or no one against me, knowing that everything has already been given, that the peace of God is already living in, through, and as me, and that I simply get to access that peace, and that as I become still and recognize this oneness, this wholeness in every situation, and I begin to open my eyes, I begin to see that I am in the eye of the storm, and that there is this calm and this peace and this clarity, and even though there are things flying around me, I do not need to participate in its confusion, in its doubt, in its fear, but I can simply stand in my truth, recognize the truth about the other individual, and say, I know that there is a way out of seeming no way. Or, hey, you know what? The last time we met, I was not in my wholeness. I was talking to you from a place of fear, of lack, of limitation. And I came out to you all sideways. Please forgive me, because who I was back then and how I was acting, I forgot that the life of God is my life. I forgot that your life is the life of God. I forgot temporarily this momentary lapse of consciousness. I forgot. And so I'm here because I remember who I am and I remember who you are. And I know that in a realm of infinite possibilities, we could surely walk away from here never to talk to each other again, but we can surely reconcile the situation and come to a place where all is calm and all is well. We no longer have to hold on to that baggage when we simply admit that we may have been acting from some false identity where we took on and kidnapped somebody's, American Depressed card. We took on their driver's license and we was, fake ID. We forgot who we really were. We had taken on somebody else's identity, some untruth. So I love it because in the last few pages of his book, he says, if you review your life in each moment of fear, jealousy, greed, condemnation, dishonesty, prejudice, complacency, and arrogance that you've ever felt, you can, and this is if you're honest with yourself, you can begin to see the consequences of not being connected to your wholeness and your worth. Week after week, I remind you, because it's my job to remind you that right where you are, God is. That everything necessary you already have within you. Last month, I even reminded you that it's kind of like you have that check. A rich relative leaves you a check of money beyond your wildest imagination. And it's kind of like having a check for all this money that will solve all your problems, and yet you don't cash the check. See, it's already been given. All we have to do is cash the check, and the way we cash the check is through our prayer, through our meditation, through our contemplation, through our sacred study, our sacred service, and knowing our oneness. That's cashing that check. You see, the consequences of not being connected to your wholeness and your worth is forgetting who you are. And then, as a result of forgetting who you are, not only do you experience pain, but we also cause pain. And the natural tendency that we push down because society says, you just don't do that, our real natural tendency is reconciliation. Our natural tendency is to see it rightly, to recognize these areas where we've acted from these places, and to see it rightly and admit it, to reconcile. Can you see that no one's ever been against you? Can you see that your fear and loneliness have been wrought in sheer ignorance of your true self? And for me, ignorance. Ignorance. It's been a result of your ignorance. You're ignoring your true self. Not that you're ignorant and that you're incapable of learning, but that you've been ignoring your true self. So, are you willing to forgive those who you've harmed? Realizing that you could only have been hurt because you are not connected to your wholeness and your worth. And this is why it's so hot. Because it's kind of like, wow, I've been there, done that. Probably some of you already have a list of names of who you need to contact and who you need to get with. And that's what he asks us to do. He asks us to review it, review our lives, review our day today at the end of the day. Who do you need to contact? Who do you need to talk to? Who do you need to get honest with? How is it that you shore up now in the sea of confusion or in the middle of the storm? How is it that you then begin to see the areas where you put the level on and it's a little bit crooked, and so you just kind of shimmy and shore it up a little bit so that you recognize who you are and live from that place? Gary asks us to do this. So maybe we'll just kind of think about it in our meditation. Before you go to bed tonight, review the events of your day. What unfinished business awaits you tomorrow? Where were you too quick to judge or too busy to fully be present? Maybe it was a loved one who just needed a few minutes of your time, but you're so, oh, honey, I can't right now. Where is it that you need to just kind of make that shift? Make a list of the people you really need to talk to, or write letters, and make a promise to yourself that if you have the opportunity to wake up on this side of the veil, that you'll begin this peacemaking, the way of life. And so as we simply take a time to take this talk, the reading, the music, the love that's present in this room, as we begin to just settle into a few minutes of silent meditation and our silent time together, begin to see where you can increase your prayer, your meditation, your contemplation. Begin to see what new creative ways you can begin to anchor the truth that right where I am, God is. Begin to simply reflect, even just today, on those areas where you may have not given 100% or fully been present, or where you may have responded or reacted to somebody from a place of lack, or limitation, or fear, or doubt, where you temporarily forgot who you were. And just make a mental note of that, so that we can begin seeing it aright, so that we can begin to change our attitudes and beliefs about conflict, so we can begin to see that conflict is really our opportunity for growth and unfoldment, so we can begin to remember and to know that the wholeness that God is, I am. And in each and every situation, I can be a peacemaker. I can recognize my oneness in all things, and recognize that in a world of infinite possibilities, that reconciliation is indeed the way of love. And so we simply become quiet and introspective, and we allow the still small voice to speak to us in a language that we understand, and to reveal to us all the ways that we can simply remember our truth and live from that place.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
And how grateful I am for our time, our collective time in the silence, where that which is only for us to hear, we get to experience. All the ways that God reveals itself in, through, and as us, we experience in the silence. And how powerful it is to be in community, in a community silence, where the energetic is such that it lifts us to this place of knowing our truth, where we begin to simply release that which no longer serves us, and we begin to embrace that which is true. And right where I am, God is. Right where I am, love is. Right where I am, peace is. Right where I am, joy is. Right where I am, abundance is. Right where I am, there is wisdom. Right where I am, there is harmony. Right where I am, there is clarity. Right where I am, there is infinite life and infinite possibilities. This is the truth of who we are. And for this, we give thanks that it has already been given, and the more we remember this truth about ourselves, the more we live from this place and are the peacemakers, and the more that we are the peace of God. You want a piece of me? God says it is already given, and so it is. Amen. So thank you all for being here and for allowing yourselves to go on this journey. It is now our time where we get to share and redistribute our good. So I invite the ushers to come forth. And as the ushers are coming forth and you prepare your gifts, your tithes, your offerings to share with this spiritual community, simply become grateful for something in your life. And as you give from this place of gratitude, it is indeed multiplied. As we recognize that we have been given and that we actually give from this place, we just redistributing that which has already been given. We're simply sharing with this spiritual community our richest blessings so that indeed we have a place to be at where we can be reminded of our truth. So thank you in advance for giving from this place. And so I simply bless these tithes, these gifts, these offerings, knowing that we use them not only for our own edification, but so that those coming forth may recognize their truth and their wholeness, and that together we awaken in consciousness, knowing the truth of who we are. Ushers, go forth. Thank you. And as you give, also prepare your heart for the reciprocal nature of life. You get to receive. And what a great gift it is to receive the gift of Sunny Daye. So we're bringing Sunny Daye to the stage. as they talk about what they're going to be doing.
How good it feels to be in resolution and be at peace and feel that oneness with all life. Such a good feeling. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drift on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn and a new day and a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the trees, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn and a new day and a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies are having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me, for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of pine, you know how I feel. And freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me, and I'm feeling, I'm feeling it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and we're feeling good.
Sunny Daye and Jim Bianchi. Oh my gosh. All right, who's feeling good? I know, I don't even know what to ask after that. It's like, usually I have a question. Who wants to share some good tonight? Here we go.
Thank you for that song.
Thank you, beloved.
Thank you so much for your talk. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I've been waiting a few weeks for the right moment because, some of the other were so serious, and this one's something really happy. It's not a conflict resolution at all. Where's Melissa? She knows. A couple weeks ago, I went up to Melissa and I said, I have a condo, I need a renter. I'm coming to you because you're such a good prayer person that I know if you pray for a good renter, I'll get the perfect renter. So we talked about somebody who has the money and somebody who's going to take care of it and somebody who's going to appreciate all the work we did to make it nice. So she found me somebody. And it didn't work out with the person you gave me, but that's okay. The next day, a different renter showed up who has the money, is only going to be there 2 weeks out of the month, is, he appreciates everything about it, and it's like, thank you for your prayer. It just, poof, thank you, God.
Prayer works all the time. Somebody else would like to share some good? Something good that has come forth out of your work, out of your prayer. Something good? Are you raising your hand? Okay, I'm checking. Because I'll let you talk if you raise your hand. Hello, beloved.
Hi. I'm actually having an interesting flipped experience going through a storm. And it's a time where in my sleep I am finding that my subconscious is waking me up with all, senses of injustices and things like that. And it's like I can't wait to be up in the morning when I have my conscious mind that can redirect this energy and embrace it and take it someplace. So I've learned to really appreciate my conscious mind in a different way.
Thank you, and I'm so glad that you said that because in our work this month, in my dream state, it has been revealed areas for me to work on. And so it's interesting to wake up and then have it be in our conscious state and connect with those things. Did I see one hand over here? Burning desire. Anthony. Hi, beloved. It's always good to see you.
Thank you, Anthony. A couple things. One of them was my sister, my older sister, had found out she had cancer. And so there was a period of time where we didn't know if it would spread or not. And I got into a real funk myself. And when I found out that after the surgery that it was contained and it didn't spread, like my whole being just like opened up again, along with celebrating 33 years in recovery. So it was a big boost for me. Thanks.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we will continue to keep your sister in our thoughts and our prayers as we will you as well, especially with 33 years of recovery. Wow. This has been a really great month. Next month is September, and I have a little surprise for you. And I'm glad she said, yeah. You see that little guy on the cover? That's what September's about. It's about imagination. And the theme for the month is Imagine. And in our Science of Mind magazine, we have daily guides. So starting September 1st, all the way through the end of September, you can read a daily guide that will help to inspire you around the theme of imagine and imagination. And guess who they're all written by? So so I am so happy to tell you, yeah, that next month's theme is Imagine. And we're going to be using the Science of Mind magazine for the whole month. Not only that, but it was in meditation that this came to me. And that was, since all of the writings in the daily guides have come through me, that we could also meditate as a community. So in your bulletins today, you might have gotten this Imagine the Possibilities. So the invitation is to join me at 7:30 a.m. via conference call for meditation. We'll read the thought for the day. We'll do a meditation, and you'll be on your way. Now, some of you say, 7:30? Oh, dang it. I'm driving at that time. I can't meditate and drive, right? Right, no. But it will be recorded. So when you get to work or later on in the day, if you still want to participate and meditate, knowing that it has happened live already, you can go ahead and listen to the pre-recorded message. If you have any questions in the hug line, you can ask me, and I'm happy to let you know. So I know that the bookstore has a bunch of these, so we want to make sure that we pick them up so that we're prepared for next month. And next week's is Imagine, Accept, and Experience. So I want to thank everybody who has come out, who has been of service today, our practitioners who are of constant loving service. Both of them will be available in our chapel right after service today. Their gift to you is prayer. I want to thank Jenny for coordinating us all, Tim for being on the AV, Melanie for being our sound person tonight, making sure we all sound great. And of course, I want to thank Jim Bianchi and Sunny Daye for the wonderful music. And last and definitely not least, I want to thank all of you for bringing your consciousness to this place. Because we are collective, it would not be the same if one of you were missing tonight. It is what it is because you came and you brought your energetic and you brought your consciousness and your willingness and your open heart. And for that, I am indeed grateful. All right, I will see you next week. We get to stand and do our closing prayer.
Thank you, Reverend Sunshine.
Oh, you're so welcome, beloved.
Reverend Sunshine. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
Come and get your hugs. We have refreshments. And meet us in the family room.
Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together. Time to love one another right now. Like that song? Keep singing. Come on. Love is but a song we sing, fades the way we die. You can make mountains ring, or make angels cry. Know the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Time to love one another right now. Right now. Right now. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you.